Hi there, welcome back to Gaining Vision. I'm Melanie. Thanks for taking the time to click. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks so much for the continuous support. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope you've had a great day so far. I have a question for you. Do you like stories? I love stories. Even as a child, fairy tales, adventure stories, mysteries, you name it, I love it. But growing up as an adult, I started to explore the stories of people across the globe, and I love them. I love to learn new things, new places, and stories of people's lived experiences. So when I stumbled across a YouTuber who was also a storyteller, I was hooked like that. Yes, Taddeo-Nxumalo. He's a Nigerian, a filmmaker, a content creator, and a storyteller. He says in his description of his YouTube channel, he wants to share stories of people, places, and things so that we feel something in every single video. And I tell you, I did. He's over 300 videos, and I encourage you to find out more about them after you hear what I have to share today. There was 2 videos that really stood out. He travels across Africa to share beautiful places through storytelling. Storytelling in a unique way. He shares facts about the countries, but also engages you through his content, of his connection with people. Now, of course, like any storyteller, he has an engaging voice, his pace, his tone, but the content is what makes the story so beautiful. The first one I'm going to share with you is when he traveled to Namibia. Of course, he set the stage by giving us some basic information, such as Namibia is 2 hours away from Cape Town, South Africa, by plane.
I started my journey from Cape Town, which is less than 2 hours away from Namibia if you are traveling by air.
It has 2.4 million people living in the country. And some of the tourism is top revenue. Farming as well is one of the top economy in Namibia.
Landed in the capital city of Windhoek, and my reaction was, where is everybody?
There are just 2.5 million people in the whole of Namibia. That's like one small part of Lagos.
Namibia is one of the least populated countries in the world, even though the land area is over 824,000 kilometers square, which is almost the size of Nigeria at 900,000 plus kilometers square. That's really small if you ask me. Most people who come to Namibia come for tourism, as it's the country's largest source of revenue.
When he arrived there, he shared he wanted to travel for 10 days on a budget for $1,000. I was intrigued right off the bat.
A little known secret is that Namibia is home to the oldest desert in the world, which I've always wanted to visit. Since I had 10 days, I came up with a plan to spend 3 days each in different interesting parts of the country and finally end up at the oldest desert in the world. I had very limited resources, so I wanted to make sure this trip was as cheap as possible. So I set a budget of $1,000, which I was going to make sure not to go over.
He discovered he wanted to go and visit the oldest desert in the world, but it was 100 kilometers away. So he knew he couldn't do that as alone. It would be very boring. So he called his pal Richard to come join him. So when Richard arrived, they set out and looked for a plan.
Also, on looking at the map, I realized that most of the locations I had planned on visiting were hundreds of kilometers from the city, and driving all that distance alone was gonna be super boring. So I reached out to my friend Richard, who lived in Cape Town and who was also a travel creator, to come join me on this trip, and he arrived the next day.
I am super tired.
If we're gonna drive all the way to the oldest desert in the world, we're gonna need to get a vehicle that could take us around. If we could get a vehicle, then we could explore the most amazing locations in Namibia and finally visit the oldest desert in the world, which has always been on my wish list.
They knew they would need somehow to get across all this traveling of land. They had noticed a lot of 4x4s, but they were unique. They had tents on top, and they were equipped with much equipment. Described camping gear, a fridge to keep the beverages cool, as well as pumps for the tires. Already I was intrigued about what type of land he would be traveling on.
One of the things I noticed on arrival here was that there were lots of 4x4 Toyota trucks with tents on them. The trucks had almost everything you will need for an adventure or road trip. You had a fridge at the back for drinks, pumps for your tires, cooking equipment if you do decide to go camping, and a lot more.
They put a call out on Instagram to see if anyone wanted to sponsor this journey. I thought, what a clever way, and I learned something new right off the bat. Luckily enough, a travel company reached out to them the next day and helped with the logistics and the accommodations of the journey, plus provided them with a brand new 4x4 for their journey.
I put out a post on IG the night before that I was in Namibia in hopes that a travel company will reach out to us for a collaboration. The next morning, we got the biggest surprise ever. One of the biggest travel companies in Namibia, called Gondwana Collections, had reached out to us and was willing to help us plan our trip and also give us a brand new vehicle to move around. We couldn't believe our luck. God was on our side. This is our vehicle. It's my box in the back there. So 4x4 has a camping tent on top. It's like a new vehicle actually. I'm excited to see what the country holds. So I want you guys to come along with me. So let's go.
As Taddeo was explaining what he was seeing and his excitement was growing in his voice, I was getting more excited. He described that Namibia was known for some of the best roads in Africa. A lot of them were tarred and easy to travel, but he also shared the beautiful scenery he was seeing.
The first place on our list was the Kalahari Anib, which was around 3 hours from Windhoek. The drive was mostly on a tarred road. I'd heard that Namibia is the leading African country with the best and quality roads on the continent, and to be honest, they weren't lying.
The vast lands, the greenery, the deserts, everything he saw along his way. His descriptive language kept me engaged. But he also shared that he connected with a YouTuber. I learned something else. Everywhere across the globe, you're going to find a YouTuber, and who better to connect with a YouTuber from the country you're visiting? You get the inside scoop. And he met up with Woven, and this is where we started to see how he connects with people.
One of the great parts about visiting a new country is trying out the food. So I reached out to a new friend I just met online. Her name was Woven.
Hi, Tayo's family. Welcome to Windhoek, Namibia.
And she is one of the biggest YouTubers, if not the biggest YouTuber in Namibia.
So where are we going to currently?
We're going to Katitora.
She told me about the local spot in Windhoek called Sia's Kitchen, where we could try out some of the best Namibian delicacies.
She was able to show him some of the sights, but also helped him enjoy some of the food with some fun. They had a little bit of a contest. It was exciting. He engaged us with the content, not only of the food, but the fun they were having.
With us here in Namibia, we are people's people. So when we eat as a group instead of not everyone on their own. So first things first, we must wash.
Is that why you're rolling
our
up
hands.
your sleeves? Is it that serious?
Oh, this is reflex.
You can't eat from the same plate with me because I'll eat all the food and then you'll be very hungry.
Challenge accepted.
Oh really? Are we challenging?
Challenge
Okay. Oh, let's do
accepted.
it. Let's see. Tayo versus Woven. Who's gonna eat more food?
Accepted.
Nigeria for life.
Let's go. So this is set 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Nigeria, what's going on? It's woman's facial expression.
Why is you holding my hand?
I'm a hospitable person through and through.
Yeah.
And I cannot beat someone who's visiting us.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yo, look at
it's
that.
only right. I just let you win. It's not that you won.
As a Nigerian, I will not disappoint my country.
When the adventure finally gets underway on his first leg of the journey, again, him and Richard are driving for 4 to 5 hours a day. He's describing what he's seeing with that descriptive language and cadence that he has. I felt like I was right there all on this journey with him. Although I couldn't see the footage, I heard it was incredibly beautiful. She talks about the sand dunes, the different things that he sees as he goes along, as well as when they get to the next site, he shared about the game drive, the different animals that he saw, the beautiful sunsets in Namibia, as well as, of course, the food. Food and accommodations were a big part of his storytelling. And I felt like I was along for the journey. It was incredible.
After driving 3 hours, see, show them you have arrived. Kalahari Namib Gondwana collection.
Welcome to Kalahari Anib Lodge.
Oh,
Some
thank you.
refreshment.
Thank you very much.
It's an iced tea juice.
Iced tea juice?
Yes.
Okay, are you 2 cups for me? I thought it was just like going to be a small lodge, but apparently, oh, there's even a pool there.
Yeah, we have 2 pools.
Oh, wow.
Kalahari Anib was like a beautiful oasis in the middle of the desert. Because of its location, one of the activities to engage in here was the game drive, which brought us close to the animals in the safari.
We'll be heading to the dune where you guys will see a lovely Namibian sunset.
Namibia has some of the most amazing wildlife in any African country, with animals like cheetahs, zebras, lions, elephants, and many more. The national animal is the oryx, which can be seen on the country's coat of arms and can be found all over the countryside. After a long drive through the beautiful safari, we climbed up one of the highest red sand dunes to eat and experience the amazing sunset.
Welcome to Namibia.
How do you do it?
Like this? No, oh shit. Oh!
Like this. Like this.
Oh, like this.
Yes, Namibia.
I feel like I'm throwing gang signs.
This is Namibia. If you can see, this is up north and this is into the Caprivi. So we are about here. This is more to the south. So the west side is this side and this is more to the east side.
Welcome to Namibia.
As he comes into contact with any person, whether it's somebody at the hotel or a person on the journey, he connects with them just in conversation. His personality shines through, and you feel like you're right there on this journey with him. As we travel more along and get closer and closer to his destination, he talks about the sand dunes. He talks about the weather and how the roads are nice and smooth and the journey is there. When he talks about going on a gravel road, I felt like, oh boy, it's going to change the terrain. But his storytelling pace kept you as if you're going along, gliding so smoothly.
We set off on the second leg of our trip to a place called Sossusvlei. The drive took us about 5+ hours on a mostly gravel road.
One cool thing about road trips is that you keep stopping in different towns and in different areas to either buy supplies or buy fuel to top up. And currently we're in a town, I don't know where this is. Okay, it's called Mautaho. I think this is our last bend before we leave the express and head on to the gravel road. We need to deflate our tires.
Reducing our tire pressure made it soft so it could conform to the shape of the rocks, improving traction and grip. On our left and right were numerous beautiful rock formations, and we also came across many animals.
We saw a big ass Komodo dragon. It's very massive. Get up. Want to see some action?
Ooh, there he goes.
Driving to Sossusvlei felt like we were taking a long drive through a safari. Even though the roads were gravel, the ride was really smooth, and we're driving at 80 kilometers per hour on this road. To be honest, I had a lot of doubt if we're going to make it to the desert because we still had a long way to go. Traveling for me is always filled with uncertainty, especially for a new location, and you can never be too sure of what to expect.
The final leg of the journey, he comes across some really amazing scenery that, again, I couldn't see, but I felt. He talked about a spot where it was dead trees. Over the years, the sand dunes had cut off the water supply, so the trees were dead, but they were still standing there hundreds of years later. He said it was so silent and eerie because, of course, you see all these dead trees with silence. The way he portrayed this and the different sand dunes and the way he had Richard whistle and call for tail, it sounded like the echoes were there. I was hooked in, waiting to see what happened next.
So Sossusvlei is a very popular spot in Namibia. It has some of the biggest and most beautiful sand dunes that form different patterns when hit by the sun from different angles. Inside Sossusvlei is a place called Dead Flea, which was home to the most famous salt pan in Namibia. To access it, we had to drive into the Namib Knokloft Park and pay a fee. The prices differ based on where you are from, cheaper for Namibians and more expensive for tourists like me. The ride takes another 30 minutes plus along the tarred road before getting to the final destination, which was the ultimate test of our driving skills.
We're trying to make sure we don't get stuck, because if we get stuck, we have to push the car.
Seeing Dead Flea for the first time was one of the most surreal sights ever. There were so many trees that were dead but still standing, and it was eerily quiet.
Tayo! He's made it.
It was formed some years back when the river flooded this area, which led to the growth of these trees. However, the climate changed and the sand dunes encroached on this area, blocking the river from reaching the trees, which led to them dying.
They're dead trees, but they're still, it's like they're still standing there, and they've been standing like this for hundreds of years. So lots of people come here to come and experience it, and trust me, this is one of the most breathtaking places I've ever seen.
I loved the way he was building momentum through his storytelling of a final destination. He engaged with a group of people the night before they were to travel to the desert. They had some fun, sang a song, enjoyed a few drinks. And again, that fun, love life was there.
Finally linked up with the guys.
Yeah. Tomorrow's gonna be epic. Though,
Yeah,
for sure.
it's gonna be epic.
Yeah.
You're gonna show me how you guys do it here, right?
Yeah, no, for tonight, definitely.
Okay.
We're gonna start off very easy, but we still got an early morning, so I hope you're a strong soldier, eh?
We're strong in Nigeria, don't worry, I'm good.
Our spot for the night was the Delight Hotel, which was a 5-minute walk from the waterfront.
Ooh, okay. What's this called?
Onyama.
Onyama. I can't describe it. It's just marvelous.
When they embarked on the final journey to go to find that desert he'd been searching for over the last days, I was excited. He endured a bumpy ride, but the tour guide shared with him, it's a massage, an African massage. So as the roads got a little bumpier on this travel, he was talking about hiring a tour guide because the roads were very tricky here. I could feel the anxiety and the tension building because he's finally reaching his destination. And this was an incredible place. He talked about how the sand dunes of the desert finally met the Atlantic Ocean, the desert and the ocean coming together. Wow, what a visual in my mind I had.
Riding on the sand here, you need to be skilled. Either you're skilled so that you don't get stuck, or you just get a tour company, which is what we did.
Of the car's traction control, because that's one of the procedures that we do. Your traction control has to be off, and then we're going to engage into H4, which is your normal 4x4. As I always tell my clients, this is the part where we say we're going to have some African massages all the way. It's courtesy, it's free of charge. You didn't touch that, all right? Cool.
Let's go.
I had seen numerous videos of the desert hitting the ocean, but I haven't had a chance to experience it fully for myself until now.
This is the only place in the world for hundreds and hundreds of kilometers where the world's oldest desert, the Namib Desert, and the Atlantic Ocean meets.
This is the oldest desert in the world and has one of the highest dunes in the world.
He shared how incredible, fulfilling, finally seeing this oldest desert, but also how it felt seeing the coastal line with the beautiful desert. Can you picture that? Well, with Taddeo-Nxumalo's storytelling, he described it so visually with beautiful words and descriptive language. But what else I noticed set the whole video on was the music he was selecting. He shared with us the video was sponsored by Epidemic, a music company, where you could use different music to set the scene, and this enhanced his storytelling.
Music is an important part of storytelling, and Epidemic Sound provides me with restriction-free music to use on all my platforms without ever having to worry about it being taken down or muted. It doesn't matter whether you're a video creator on YouTube or if you create videos for clients. Epidemic Sound has a license to cover everything.
Namibia is a beautiful country, and through seeing it through Taddeo-Nxumalo's storytelling, I know that I definitely will go visit. So that's just one of the many countries he's described in his storytelling, and I encourage you to check out all of the places he's visited: Egypt, Morocco, Portugal, and of course Nigeria. But when Taddeo-Nxumalo's videos are different, when he connects with people in interviews and hears people's stories, this is a whole other storytelling side to Taddeo-Nxumalo. I was really engaged by hearing this young man from Kenya who decided to go into farming in Botswana.
If our brothers could stop looking at the outside as the gateway to success, I don't think there's anything better than this land that we're in. It's literally the land of milk and honey.
This is Isaac Kasonde, a 22-year-old entrepreneur who owns one of Botswana's largest farms.
So you used 2,500 to make 18,000.
In today's video, it takes us on a journey of how he plans to build one of the largest farming companies in Africa.
Oh, so you didn't go to uni?
I didn't go to uni, no. I come here every day.
Every single day?
Every single day.
Taddeo has a beautiful style of conversation. I won't even call it interview, but bringing a story to life through conversation with this young man, Isaac. Isaac shared that after high school, he wasn't going to go to university. He was going to go into the family farming business. He was intrigued. He wanted to see how this could happen for him. He shared his vision with his family, and they had him write a proposal. And he did his market research. He talked to a lot of people in Botswana about farming and what the needs were. And he identified the needs for vegetables and other crops.
I finished school in 2018. University was definitely not planned.
Oh, so you didn't go to uni?
I didn't go to uni, no.
Oh, wow.
So moment that finished, sat down with my parents, I'm like, let me just enter the family businesses.
Okay.
And they were like, okay, we'll give you a chance. And they said, okay, find something to do. And then luckily Botswana just got the vegetable ban.
Botswana and Namibia banned the import of several types of South African fruits and vegetables.
Oh, wow.
So the moment it ended, I decided to go into farming. And then I just decided that, yeah, this is gonna be my home now.
He put a plan together and he shared the ups and downs with Taddeo. But what was really magical is the way Taddeo was asking questions to pull the story out of Isaac, to get all the pieces to the puzzle to paint that beautiful picture.
How did you get started getting the land?
Well, for me, very fortunate. I have very loving parents. They really saw the vision. They told me put it on paper. I put it on paper, gave them a proposal, and they were happy with it.
Can you just give us the process of starting a farm?
I think first and foremost, you need to decide what you like.
Okay.
There's crops, there's animals. So I think first thing first, you should decide what you're willing to fight for. So whether it will be in the vegetables or in the animals, you have to go in and understand the market. So basically, you have to do your research. So what I did was I went to supermarket. I asked them what they're missing. So I also created relationships with the people in the supermarket.
Okay.
So even prior to me starting the farm, I used to call them all the time just to inquire. They're really friendly people, by the way. So you just go, you inquire, and they will literally tell you everything they need to know, because at the end of the day, they're also in need of vegetables.
Can you explain what this is and what happens here?
This is a net shade. It's on half a hectare. It's 100 meters by 50 meters.
Is this lettuce or what's this?
This right here is spinach.
Interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. This is nice.
So this is just the beginning stages of the spinach.
Okay.
Here they are about 4 to 6 weeks old. And then this is fully mature. This is what I'm currently supplying in the shops at the moment.
Isaac Isaac shared about his 10 hectares of land, how he has the different crops on it, but also some livestock, how he worked hard to get to where he is and how he's still learning, his plans for the future, and as well, the importance for Africans to see what's possible in Africa. He's only 22 years old, but yet so wise. And Taddeo highlights all of this by asking probing, leading questions, but yet not filling in the words for him.
What's the size of this land that we're currently on?
Currently we're on 10 hectares right now.
10 hectares?
Yes, 10 hectares.
Not acres, hectares.
Hectares, yes.
Was it difficult to set up?
No, definitely you need to work with the right people. But I worked with some very lovely people. They managed to set up everything for me within the time frame that they set out, and it was all very professional. Everything was local.
Is this going to be replicated across the rest of the land?
Definitely. Okay. I have big plans for expansion, but that will also come with time and also my skill level. I'm still learning a lot.
You're still learning a lot?
A lot, because prior to all this, it was just me and Google. Now it's me and ChatGPT.
ChatGPT is a computer program that will write whatever you want quickly and convincingly.
Oh, use ChatGPT. AI. Oh, cool.
I also appreciated that Taddeo gave us other information about Botswana and other things about Isaac that perhaps Isaac was a little shy to bring up. He would ask those questions: how lucrative is the business, as well as what does the future hold? As a 22-year-old entrepreneur, the possibilities are endless, and Taddeo knows this. So he encouraged Isaac to keep talking. And before you know it, the interview was over, but yet I felt like I was right there on that farm in Botswana.
How lucrative is farming? Let's talk a little bit about money now.
Yeah, farming can be very lucrative if your quality meets the standards. For you, of course, to, get the big bucks and, be someone recognized, you need to have great quality and you need to be on top of your game in terms of also your consistency. So when it comes to being lucrative, just depends on you.
Okay.
Yeah. Depending on how our week is, if we're slaughtering chicken, if we're harvesting, just depends on our week, how our orders are like. And then that's how we usually work. So the week before, I'll do the orders and make all the orders, and then we'll sit down with my guys and we'll tell them, okay, we need to do 1, 2, 3 by this time, and so far so good.
I really appreciate the fact that Taddeo has this gift of engaging his audience through his storytelling. Of course, we know there's so many different elements to storytelling, but Taddeo makes it feel like he's a natural, as if he's been doing this all his life, and perhaps he has been.
What are the functions of this net?
In Botswana, we have very hot climate. Basically, what this net does, it keeps the plants cool so that they don't get burnt.
Why did you decide to go into this business?
First and foremost, I come from a very huge farming background.
Oh, okay.
My mother's Kenyan, my dad is Zambian. Back in Kenya, we are very big farmers. That is basically what took her to school, what afforded her all the things. Same thing with my dad also in Zambia. My Zambian side, they did more cattle and stuff. Then back home in Kenya, we did a lot of maize and grain crops,
His editing skills, his videography skills, and of course his storytelling skills make him an amazing content creator, and I encourage you all to take time to visit his YouTube channel, because honestly the videos are breathtaking, his stories are amazing, and I am hooked. I keep going back to learn more, and there's content there all the time. So please, until next time, please check out Taddeo's YouTube channel. Find out if you can find any other storytellers on YouTube and let me know, because I am now looking not only for entrepreneurs but storytellers, because my goodness, YouTube provides so many opportunities for me to travel the world from the comfort of my home through somebody else's eyes and somebody else's storytelling abilities. Thank you, Taddeo, so much for doing what you do and for sharing it with all of us. Until next time, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit my head below. Simple, 1, 2, 3, just click subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Until next time, bye.